Wanted to make a quick video outlining how to set up scan to file or scan to folder for top access devices. So these are going to be Toshiba devices or MFDs or even Oki data. So anything that has this UI from top access really would go about the same way of setting up scan to file or scan to folder or scan to network folder. Now it's really difficult to do simply because of how cumbersome this UI is, and a lot of the information that's out on the internet, it's a bit outdated that I have come across 100 times. So now that I finally understand how to actually have this set up, I just wanted to save you guys some time and put this out there. So what we're going to want to do first is sign into the device's web interface. So just grab the IP address of the printer or whatever, plug it into a web browser, and then sign into it with your admin credentials. Once you're actually signed in, then you're going to want to go to administration, and then from administration, we're going to go to setup. And we're going to click on save as file. And then the rest of this, try to have it as the same. There's only two things that we're going to change up here. You may have a few other alterations from what I have here, but just follow through with what I have, and you should be all right. So remote 1 and remote 2, these are going to be the changes that we're going to make, but everything else, have that as the same. So under remote 1, we're going to have allow user to select network folder to be used as a destination selected. Make sure SMB is selected, and then we're going to head over to network path. Now, network path is going to be where that file or folder resides, where it is. In our case, we're going to use our server here. We're going to plug in the local IP, and then we're going to plug in the rest of the file location. Now, you can use the IP or you can use the host name, totally fine. We've tried it with both and both do work. And then for the login username, we're using a Active Directory. So we set up a entirely separate account called Scanner3. It's going to essentially have access, share access, and permission access to these folders and files. So once you've created that user and you've given it permissions, then you can use this account. So you're just going to plug in its username and then its password, and then once it's plugged in and you have everything correct, click execute. It'll run through, and it went through successfully. And then as for remote 2, I just have it copied over, same exact information. We can hit execute and it'll go through without a problem. So this is going to save us some time down the road, but once remote 1 and remote 2 settings are selected, we're going to need to go to registration. And in a lot of the videos for the old UI, they were saying you had to go through this registration and update the address book with groups and everything. You don't have to do that. So with the new UI, you go to registration, under administration, and click on public home. And public home is just that. It's the home page that you would see in front of the MFD if you were right there in front of it. And we're going to want to go to scan destinations. Now this could be anywhere within your panel. As you can see, these are what the users would see if they were in front of the device. It could be on panel 2, 3, 4, whatever. Just move it to wherever you want, but you're going to want to use scan destinations. Otherwise, if it's not there, you can always add it in to the tiles. So we're going to select scan destinations, click edit folder, and then we're going to wait. Because what's happening now is the scan folders, if there are some, are being queued up, as we can see there. And now we can close out of the edit settings. I'm just going to scroll down to the new page. Here we are. So now that we're in front of the new page, go ahead and click the tile. We're going to click create template. Click scan. This auto-filled, but make sure save as file is selected. and then select agent. And then from here, we can go directly into the save as file settings. That's the important one. But otherwise, you can look over the scan settings, make sure it's what you need. But as for the file location, let's go to save as file settings. Make sure it's as PDF. We'll leave encryption alone. Digital signature can be left alone. And then destination is the most important one. So we don't want to have it saved locally on the device. So we're going to want to select remote 1. You can deselect this. And then kind of like what we set up for remote 1 and remote 2, we're going to have SMB selected. And then network path. This can be the same path that you put in before, or you could use the subfolder for that directory to access, let's say, the user's specific scan folder, rather than saying it's some big collection of scans. And then as for the login username, to make things a little easier, just use the scan profile you had set up. So in my case, it was scanner3, so I would type in scanner3. And then for password, be the password to that account, hit execute, and it'll verify that it has a proper working connection and can access that folder. And as long as it can do all that, then you're good to go. Hit save, and all is good in the world. You can now scan to a folder. But yeah, I hope that helped out, and take care.